The grand assembly room of the Galactic Council buzzed with the murmur of 1,000 alien dialects. Bright lights glinted off metallic surfaces, casting elongated shadows of the diverse council members who filled the vast chamber. At the center of it all stood Commander Jack Reynolds, his gaze fixed confidently on the presiding counselor as he prepared to defend humanity's potential. Counselor Threx, a tall reptilian figure with shimmering scales, leaned forward, his voice echoing through the hall. "Commander Reynolds, your fleet is unimpressive by any standard. Why should we consider your species for full membership when your military capabilities are laughable at best?" Jack cleared his throat, his voice steady. "Counselor Threx, we may not boast the numbers or the firepower of some member races, but humanity has a history of overcoming great odds. We bring unique qualities to the table." A murmur rippled through the chamber, various members whispering in skepticism. Another counselor, a feathered avian named Kirill, interjected with a sharp caw. "Unique qualities? Do elaborate, Commander. We are yet to see anything from humans that we haven't seen bettered by others." Jack smiled slightly, undeterred. "Our strategies in warfare and diplomacy are deeply interconnected with our nature. It's not just about raw power or technology, it's about adaptability and strategic thinking." Counselor Threx scoffed. "Words, Commander Reynolds, just words. Let's see some proof of this so-called adaptability." From the corner of the room, Admiral Leora Venn, Jack's second-in-command, caught his eye and nodded slightly. She transmitted a feed from their latest training exercise to the central display. The room watched as human forces executed a complex rescue operation, showcasing precise coordination and swift adaptability under pressure. As the video ended, Jack addressed the room. "That operation was successful because of our ability to think on our feet and adapt to rapidly changing situations." Counselor Threx leaned back, his expression unreadable. "Impressive coordination, but hardly a demonstration of military strength. It's not the size of the force, but the strength of their bond and their ability to work together seamlessly," Jack replied. "And soon, you'll witness firsthand the capabilities that truly set us apart." Kirill fluttered her wings impatiently. "You speak of hypotheticals, human. The Council demands tangible evidence of worthiness." Jack's eyes glinted with resolve. "Then allow us to partake in the war games. We'll prove our worth on the field of battle, not just with our fleet, but with an asset no other member has." Threx rose to his full height, intrigued. "An asset? What kind of asset, Commander?" "The K-91 unit," Jack declared, his voice echoing boldly. "A specialized combat team that exemplifies our unique approach to warfare." Whispers filled the hall, a mix of curiosity and doubt. Counselor Threx nodded slowly, his interest piqued. "Very well, Commander Reynolds, we accept your challenge. Prepare your forces, and this K-91 unit. The war games will reveal the truth of your claims." Jack bowed respectfully, a confident smile playing on his lips. As he turned to leave, Leora joined him, her expression cautious yet optimistic. "Do you think they understood what they're about to witness?" "They will," Jack assured her, his mind already racing with plans. "They will see exactly what humanity and our dogs can achieve together." The room's atmosphere was thick with anticipation and doubt, a crucible in which the fate of humanity would soon be tested. Back in the council chamber, the atmosphere was charged with anticipation as Jack Reynolds returned to his seat among the human delegation. Whispers and murmurs filled the air, the various council members exchanging speculative glances. Counselor Threx's voice cut through the chatter, his tone more serious now. "Humanity has been granted a rare opportunity to participate in the war games. This event will pit your forces against the Zaltraxians, known for their ruthless efficiency in battle. It's a test many have failed." Jack nodded solemnly, well aware of the stakes. "We understand, Counselor. We will be ready." As the meeting adjourned, Jack was quickly surrounded by his team. Admiral Leora Venn looked particularly concerned. "Jack, the Zaltraxians are no small threat. Their technology is decades, possibly centuries, ahead of ours. Are you sure the K-91 unit is ready for this kind of exposure?" Jack's face was a mask of determination as he responded. "They have to be, Leora. It's not just about the technology. Our dogs have been trained to handle much more than what's expected in a typical battlefield scenario." Meanwhile, Counselor Threx conversed with Kirill and other members. "This human is either very brave or extremely foolish. To stake their entire bid on a pack of beasts." His voice trailed off skeptically. Jack overheard the doubt in Threx's voice and turned to address him. "Counselor, I assure you, these are no ordinary beasts. They are as much a part of our armed forces as any soldier. Later that day, Jack and his team arrived at the training grounds where the K-91 unit was housed. As they walked through the facility, the handlers showcased the dog's capabilities. Each animal was equipped with state-of-the-art combat gear, including sensory enhancements and communication tools that allowed them to perform complex commands flawlessly. Sergeant Harlan Cox, the lead trainer, called out commands, demonstrating the dog's impressive tactical obedience and combat skills. As you can see, each K-9 is trained in multiple combat scenarios. They're not just force multipliers, they're force innovators. Jack watched, pride swelling in his chest as the dogs executed a flawless tactical maneuver. Turning to his team, he spoke confidently. This is why we'll win. It's not just about matching them weapon for weapon. It's about outsmarting them at every turn. That evening, Jack held a briefing with his command team. Tomorrow, we showcase what the K-91 unit can do during the Council's observation. It's about more than just tactics. It's about showing them our unity, our bond, and our intelligence. We're not just bringing dogs to a fight. We're bringing a cohesive unit that can think, adapt, and overcome. The room was silent, every member of the team absorbed in thought, knowing the gravity of what lay ahead. Admiral Venn finally broke the silence. It's a bold plan, Jack. Let's make sure we're as prepared as we can be. Jack nodded, his gaze fixed on the holographic map displaying the simulation arena. We'll be ready. Humanity has always risen to the occasion, and tomorrow will be no exception. Let's show the Council that our spirit is just as strong as any technology. As the meeting adjourned, the team dispersed, each member mentally preparing for the monumental task ahead. Jack stayed behind, staring at the map, a strategic mind at work, plotting the moves that would hopefully secure humanity's place in the Galactic Council. The crisp morning air at the remote Earth training facility was charged with tension as Commander Jack Reynolds observed the final preparations of the K-91 unit. He walked along the training grounds, his eyes keenly observing every movement and exercise conducted by the dogs and their handlers. Jack approached Sergeant Harlan Cox, who was coordinating a complex obstacle course designed to mimic the harsh environments they might encounter in the war games. Sergeant Cox, how are the units handling the new modifications? Harlan, a seasoned trainer with years of experience working with military canines, nodded with satisfaction. Better than expected, sir. The neural links are fully operational, and the dogs' response times have improved significantly. They're ready to show the Council what they're capable of. Jack watched a German shepherd deftly navigate a series of barriers, its movements precise and purposeful. These dogs aren't just following commands, they're anticipating them. It's impressive. Yes, sir. We've integrated AI-assisted training modules that predict combat scenarios. It helps the dogs adapt on the fly, making them unpredictable and difficult for any opponent to counter, Harlan explained, pride evident in his voice. As they spoke, a handler demonstrated the communication gear fitted on each dog, which allowed silent commands to be sent directly to the canines, guiding their actions seamlessly during operations. Jack's attention was caught by a Labrador whose gear emitted a soft glow as it received a command, leading it to scout a designated area stealthily. These enhancements could be the edge we need against the Zaltraxians, Jack mused aloud. Absolutely, sir. The element of surprise is on our side, Harlan agreed. Later that day, Jack convened with his top advisors in a secure briefing room. The walls were lined with screens displaying data feeds and live footage from the training field. Today's exercises were good, but tomorrow's demonstration needs to be flawless, Jack stated, scanning the room for feedback. Admiral Leora Venn, always strategic in her outlook, raised a concern. Jack, we need to consider the Council's possible reactions. Some may see this as a novelty. We need to ensure they understand the strategic significance of the K-91 unit. Jack acknowledged her point with a nod. We'll frame it not just as a demonstration of strength, but as a showcase of human innovation and partnership. These dogs are not weapons, they're soldiers. The discussion shifted to potential scenarios they might face during the war games. Tactical maps were laid out, and potential strategies were debated intensely. The team worked late into the night, refining every detail, leaving nothing to chance. As the meeting drew to a close, Jack stood and addressed his team with a firm resolve. Tomorrow, we prove to the Galactic Council that humanity belongs among the stars, not just for our technology, but for our unique approach to solving problems. The K-91 unit exemplifies that. The team dispersed, each member mentally prepared for the significant challenge ahead. Jack stayed back, his gaze fixed on the training footage looping on the screens. He knew the next day would not just test the capabilities of the K-91 unit, but also the future of humanity in the galactic community. In the quiet of the now empty room, Jack's thoughts were on the bond between the handlers and their canine partners, a bond that exemplified the very best of what humanity had to offer. This, he knew, was their true strength, their real advantage. And as the sun set over the training facility, his resolve hardened. Tomorrow, the world would see the true value of unity and cooperation. The morning of the war games dawned with a tense silence over the human fleet as it maneuvered into position. The vast expanse of space around the designated combat arena was dotted with ships from various civilizations, all eager to witness the spectacle about to unfold. Commander Jack Reynolds stood on the bridge of the flagship, observing the deployment with a steely gaze. "Admiral Venn, status report," Jack called out without turning from the viewport. "Sir, all units are in position. The K-91 teams are prepped and ready to launch on your command," Admiral Leora Venn responded, her voice calm but underlaid with the same tension that gripped the entire crew. "Very well. Begin the operation as planned. Let's keep the element of surprise as long as possible. Deploy the fleet in defensive formation. I want the K-91 unit on standby until we give the signal," Jack instructed, finally turning to face his crew, his expression resolute. As the battle commenced, the Zaltraxian forces wasted no time, unleashing a barrage of advanced weaponry that lit up the space with violent bursts of energy. The human fleet, significantly outgunned, maneuvered evasively, their ships darting between the volleys of plasma fire. In the heat of the battle, Jack watched closely for the right moment to deploy his secret weapon. The Zaltraxians, confident in their technological superiority, pressed forward, breaking through the outer defenses of the human formation. "Now, Admiral, deploy the K-91 unit," Jack ordered, his voice cutting through the chaos of the bridge. On his command, a series of smaller, nimble ships detached from the main fleet, darting towards the planet's surface below, the designated battlefield. Inside each vessel, handlers and their canine partners braced for deployment, the dogs equipped with their combat gear, senses alert. As the ships touched down, the K-91 units disembarked swiftly, the dogs taking the lead under the guidance of their handlers. The units moved stealthily, using the terrain to their advantage, blending into the environment with a natural agility that no Zaltraxian sensor could detect. Back on the flagship, Jack and his team monitored the progress. Cameras mounted on the dogs' gear transmitted live feeds, showing their rapid, silent approach towards key enemy positions. "Initiate the attack sequence," Jack commanded, his eyes glued to the screens showing the K-91 units closing in on the Zaltraxian ground forces. In a coordinated surge, the dogs launched their attack, catching the Zaltraxian soldiers off guard. The element of surprise was complete, the K-9 units disrupting the enemy lines, sowing confusion and chaos. The Zaltraxians, unprepared for such an assault, scrambled to respond. Their communication lines, intercepted by the AI-enhanced capabilities of the K-91 unit, only added to the disarray. The dogs, communicating through subvocal cues and body language, executed complex maneuvers that outflanked and outpaced the alien soldiers. As the tide of battle turned, Jack allowed himself a brief smile. "Push forward, all units advance," he ordered, seizing the moment of advantage. The human forces rallied, bolstered by the success of their canine counterparts, and began a full-scale offensive. The Zaltraxians, rattled and still trying to comprehend the nature of their new adversary, faltered under the renewed human attack. From his command station, Jack watched as the battle unfolded, the synergy between human and canine proving to be more effective than anyone on the Council could have anticipated. The K-91 unit had not only leveled the playing field, but had tipped it in humanity's favor. As the day wore on, the Zaltraxians were forced into a retreat. Their initial confidence turned to bewilderment and defeat. Jack turned to Admiral Venn, nodding in approval. "Prepare to send a report to the Council. They wanted evidence of our capabilities. They just got it." In the aftermath of the initial skirmish, the Zaltraxian forces regrouped, stunned by the unexpected ferocity and strategic acumen of the K-91 units. From the command center aboard the flagship, Commander Jack Reynolds watched intently as the situation unfolded, the real-time images flickering across the large tactical screens. "Admiral Venn, ensure all units press their advantage. I want continuous pressure. Give them no room to recover," Jack directed, his voice firm, resonating with the urgency of the moment. "Yes, sir," Admiral Leora Venn acknowledged, quickly relaying the orders. She turned to her communications officer. Coordinate with ground teams. Maintain aggressive patrols. We can't let the Zaltraxians establish a new defensive perimeter. On the surface, the K-91 teams, led by Sergeant Harlan Cox, moved with lethal precision. The dogs, their senses heightened by genetic enhancements and advanced tech, navigated the alien terrain as if it were familiar ground. Harlan signaled to his team, his gestures sharp. Echo team, flank left. Bravo, hold your position. We're boxing them in. The dogs, understanding their roles with almost human-like comprehension, executed the commands flawlessly. They darted through the rugged landscape, their movements synchronized and silent, leaving the Zaltraxians disoriented and vulnerable. Back at the Galactic Council's observation post, several council members, including Councillor Threx, watched the live feeds with a mix of awe and apprehension. These humans, their tactics are unconventional. And these creatures, their dogs, they fight not just with loyalty but with intelligence, Threx muttered, his tone a mix of grudging respect and concern. Councillor Kirill, the feathered avian, added, their bond is their strength. It's a symbiosis we've not seen before. It gives them an edge, unpredictably so. On the battlefield, a critical moment came as one of the K-91 dogs, a robust Belgian Malinois named Chief, detected a hidden Zaltraxian artillery unit. With a subtle signal from his handler, Chief led a small team to neutralize the threat. They moved under the cover of the terrain, approaching the enemy position with stealth and speed. Within moments, the artillery was disabled, its crew overwhelmed by the sudden and silent attack. Jack watched this unfold, his confidence in the unit reaffirmed. Document everything, he instructed his intelligence officer. Every maneuver, every engagement. We'll need a full debrief for the Council. They need to see exactly how effective these units are. As the human forces continued to dominate, the Zaltraxians began to falter, their morale crumbling under the relentless pressure of the K-91 teams combined with the strategic offensive of the human military. Reports of their disarray and confusion filtered back to Jack, who allowed himself a brief moment of satisfaction. However, he remained focused, well aware that the conflict was far from over. Keep the pressure up, he reiterated to his commanders. This battle isn't just about territory. It's about making a statement. As the sun began to set on the alien world, the Zaltraxians, now severely weakened, retreated to their final stronghold. Jack stood on the bridge of his ship, looking out at the stars. Prepare for the last push, he said quietly to Admiral Venn, who nodded in understanding. The outcome of the next engagement would determine not just the fate of the human bid for council membership, but potentially the respect and fear they commanded among the galaxy's varied and powerful civilizations. Jack knew the final battle of the day would be the most telling. Tomorrow, we end this, he resolved, his gaze steely and unwavering as the galaxy watched on. The victory at the War Games reverberated through the halls of the Galactic Council, setting the stage for an intense deliberation about humanity's future. Commander Jack Reynolds, standing tall, faced the assembly once again. This time, the murmurs that filled the room bore tones of respect and a hint of fear. Councillor Threx initiated the proceedings with an uncharacteristic softness in his voice. Commander Reynolds, your demonstration has indeed proven more substantial than we anticipated. Humanity, along with its K-91 units, has displayed formidable prowess. Jack nodded, his expression composed. Thank you, Counselor. We hope our participation has demonstrated not just our military capabilities, but our commitment to peace and stability within the Council's jurisdictions. As Jack spoke, whispers and nods of agreement spread among some of the Council members, but not all were swayed. Councillor Savasi, a cunning Mertakian diplomat, leaned forward, her eyes sharp. While your performance was impressive, Commander, one wonders if introducing such unpredictable elements as your K-9 units might destabilize the balance we have worked so hard to maintain. Before Jack could reply, Councillor Kirill interjected, her feathers bristling slightly. Unpredictable, yes, but effective. Perhaps what we perceive as a threat is merely a new form of strength we have yet to understand. The debate grew heated, with various factions within the Council voicing both support and concern over humanity's inclusion. As the arguments continued, Jack received a discreet communication from Admiral Venn. We've intercepted encrypted transmissions. It seems there's a faction within the Council actively conspiring to sabotage our bid. Jack's jaw tightened as he read the message. After the session adjourned, he met with his team in a secure location. It appears not everyone is pleased with our success. We need to be vigilant. There's more at stake now than ever, he briefed them, his voice tense. The following days were a blur of strategic meetings and political maneuvering. Jack and his team worked tirelessly, countering clandestine moves against them while strengthening alliances with supportive council members. In a pivotal moment, Jack was invited to a private meeting with several key counselors. In the dimly lit room, the air thick with the scent of exotic spices, Jack made his case. Ladies and gentlemen of the council, I understand the fears regarding the unpredictability of the K-91 units. However, consider this as a new chapter in military strategy, one that could benefit us all through shared knowledge and collective defense. Counselor Threx, looking thoughtful, finally spoke. Your words hold weight, Commander Reynolds, but the fear of the unknown is a powerful adversary. As the council pondered, an emergency alert sounded throughout the capital. The council chamber was under attack by unknown forces. Jack's instincts kicked in. Allow our units to help defend the chamber. Let us prove our loyalty not just in words, but in action. Reluctantly, Threx agreed. Jack coordinated with his team, deploying K-91 units to crucial points around the capital. The dogs and their handlers moved with precision, quickly subduing the attackers and securing the council members. After the threat was neutralized, the mood in the council shifted palpably. Many who had doubted now saw the immediate value of the K-91 units not just in warfare, but in counter-terrorism and peacekeeping. The session that followed was intense, but ultimately led to a favorable outcome for humanity. Jack, standing before the council, saw not just acceptance but a dawning respect. Thank you for placing your trust in us. We will not let you down. As Jack and his team exited the chamber, they knew the real work was just beginning. They had won the council's approval, but now they had to integrate into the galactic community, proving that humanity was indeed a force for good. With humanity's acceptance into the Galactic Council now hanging in a delicate balance, Commander Jack Reynolds focused on consolidating their position while investigating the source of the attacks on the council chamber. The unity and capability demonstrated by the K-91 units had significantly swayed opinions, but Jack knew that the real test was still to come. Back on Earth, Jack convened an urgent meeting with his top military advisors and the K-91 handlers at the Strategic Command Center. The attack on the council was no random act of violence, Jack began, his eyes scanning the room for reactions. It was a calculated move to destabilize our position. We need to find out who is behind this, and why. Admiral Leora Venn, always insightful, added, We've managed to trace part of the encrypted transmissions to a sector controlled by the Murtakians. It's circumstantial, but it's a lead. Jack nodded in agreement. Prepare a covert team. We're going to need to do some reconnaissance. Harlan, your team will be crucial. The dogs can get in and out without raising any alarms. Sergeant Harlan Cox, ever ready, responded with a firm nod. The dogs are prepared for whatever you need, Commander. We'll get you your intel. The operation was set into motion swiftly. The K-91 units, along with a select group of special forces, departed under the veil of darkness, headed towards the Murtakian sector. Their mission was to gather evidence and, if possible, capture a high-value target who could provide answers. The infiltration was textbook perfect. The dogs, using their advanced sensory equipment, detected security devices and hidden guards, allowing the human operatives to neutralize threats and penetrate the enemy's infrastructure. Meanwhile, Jack remained in constant communication with the team, monitoring their progress from Earth. Each successful phase of the operation brought them closer to uncovering the conspiracy against humanity. Hours into the operation, the team struck gold. They captured a high-ranking Murtakian official who, under interrogation, revealed a faction within the council that feared human unpredictability would disrupt the power balance, leading to their clandestine actions against the humans. With solid evidence in hand, Jack contacted Counselor Threx directly. Counselor, we need to meet. What we've uncovered affects the entire council. It's about the security of every member species. The meeting that followed would be held in the high-security council chamber, with key representatives present. Jack, alongside Admiral Venn and Sergeant Cox, presented the findings, displaying intercepted communications and the testimony of the Murtakian official. The revelation sent shockwaves through the council. Threx, visibly shaken by the betrayal within their ranks, spoke solemnly. This is a grave betrayal not just of humanity, but of all the principles the council stands for. The discussion that ensued was intense and prolonged. Jack's leadership and the loyalty of his team, both human and canine, were pivotal in uncovering the conspiracy. reinforcing their value to the Council. As the session drew to a close, Threx approached Jack, extending his hand. "Commander Reynolds, you have not only secured your place here, but have also safeguarded the integrity of this Council. We owe you a great debt." Jack accepted the gesture, his face stern yet relieved. "We seek only to contribute and serve, Counselor. Let this be the foundation of our new relationship." The conspirators were detained, and new measures were put in place to prevent such incidents in the future. Jack and his team, now recognized not just as members but as protectors of the Council, were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, with the K-91 unit standing ready, a symbol of human innovation and fidelity. After the revelations and the subsequent upheaval within the Galactic Council, the Chambers, once a place of tension and suspicion towards humanity, had transformed. Commander Jack Reynolds, now seen not only as a leader but a protector, stood before the Council to discuss the future collaboration and the integration of Earth into the galactic community. Counselor Threx opened the session with a tone of solemn respect. "Commander Reynolds, the events of the past weeks have not only proven humanity's military prowess, but, more importantly, your unwavering commitment to justice and peace. We are ready to move forward with Earth's full membership." Jack nodded, his expression serious yet filled with a sense of accomplishment. "Thank you, Counselor. We are committed to the ideals of the Council and will uphold them with all our capabilities, including our K-91 units, which have demonstrated their value beyond combat." The session continued with discussions on the roles humanity would play, particularly focusing on their contributions to the Council's security forces. Jack proposed the establishment of a training program for other member species, sharing knowledge and tactics developed through the K-91 program. Such a program would not only enhance our collective security, but foster deeper bonds among our diverse civilizations, Jack explained. His proposal met with nods and murmurs of agreement from the Assembly. Councillor Kirill, once skeptical, now spoke in favor. "The success of the K-91 units is undeniable. It's clear that humanity brings unique strengths that can benefit us all. We support this initiative." As the Council voted unanimously in favor of the proposal, Jack felt a weight lift from his shoulders. The journey from skepticism to acceptance had been fraught with challenges, but finally, humanity was an integral part of the Galactic Council. After the session, Jack and his team gathered outside the Council chambers, the mood celebratory yet contemplative. Admiral Venn, always Jack's staunch supporter, shared her thoughts. "You've led us through uncertainty and opposition, Jack. Today marks a new beginning for all of us." Jack looked around at his team, his gaze lingering on the handlers and their canine partners, who had been instrumental in their journey. "We've done this together. Each and every one of you, including our four-legged comrades, played a pivotal role. This victory is yours." Celebrations ensued as news of humanity's full integration spread across Earth and other worlds. Galactic media highlighted the story of the K-91 units, now famous across star systems as symbols of Earth's ingenuity and spirit. In the days that followed, Jack worked closely with Council leaders to implement the new training programs. The K-91 units were not only a tactical asset, but had become a bridge between diverse cultures, helping to ease tensions and build trust among the member species. As Jack watched a training session, where handlers from different planets learned alongside the K-9 units, he reflected on the journey. The unity and strength demonstrated by his team had not just altered their fate, but had shifted the dynamics of power and cooperation across the galaxy. Standing with his team, watching the sunset over the Council's capital, Jack felt a deep sense of pride and optimism for the future. Humanity had not only found its place among the stars, but had helped forge a path towards a more united and secure galaxy.